That I want to be number one. Little did I know that I would, It's hard to imagine that now because we're so far removed from it that it's almost hard to percent. I think sports has always been on the front of social change.
The Stuttgart Open 2026 has only just begun, and it is already setting records no one expected. Today, April 13th, the doors of Porsche Arena open, and the scene outside caught everyone's attention. Filipino fans had been lining up for hours before a single ball was played. Ticket after ticket disappeared. Sold out was not a warning anymore. It had become the headline.
I just wanted to thank you all so much for the support. The atmosphere these past few days have been completely amazing.
Now, here is where things take a turn. Martina Navratilova, an 18-time Grand Slam champion, someone who has filled stadiums herself, watched this unfold and reportedly could not quite believe it. A legend of the sport left stunned by a 20-year-old from Manila who entered Stuttgart as a replacement player. Not a seed, a replacement, Alex Eala was only added to the main draw after Qinwen Zheng withdrew due to injury. She was not even expected to be part of this event. And yet, the ticket frenzy surrounding her arrival made the tournament's top seeds feel almost secondary. If you have not subscribed yet, this is not the moment to step away, because what happened next inside that arena challenges everything you thought you knew about women's tennis. Stuttgart was meant to be a simple clay court warm-up, a respected WTA 500 event, the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, now in its 48th edition. The storyline seemed clear even before the draw was released. Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, and Iga Swiatek were all beginning their 2026 clay seasons at the same tournament. 3 Grand Slam champions, 1 stage, the narrative was already set, but that script did not account for the Filipino community in Europe. Because when the doors of Porsche Arena opened on April 13th, the crowd outside was not gathering for Rybakina. It was not forming around Swiatek merchandise. The energy, the real, loud, undeniable energy, was focused on a 20-year-old from Manila who had entered the tournament through a late replacement spot, and that detail matters more than anything else in this story. Let's take a step back because the context here is everything.
19-year-old lefty Alex Eala from the Philippines could be the next big thing in pro tennis.
This is the goal
My goal is to be able to integrate myself into the WTA circuit.
Alex Eala was not originally part of the Stuttgart main draw. She was listed in the qualifying rounds, meaning she would have had to win multiple matches just to earn a spot among the top players. Then Qinwen Zheng, the Paris Olympic gold medalist, ranked number 37 in the world, withdrew due to injury. Emma Navarro had already pulled out earlier. Suddenly, a place opened up, and the tournament gave it to Eala. The official statement from Stuttgart organizers read, Alexandra Eala replaces Zheng in the main draw. Unfortunately, Qinwen has to withdraw due to injury, but fans can now look forward to seeing Alexandra step in. Read that carefully. A tournament long known for its elite, invitation-level prestige, a tournament whose past champions include Martina Navratilova, Martina Hingis, Maria Sharapova, Angelique Kerber, and Ashley Barty, was now telling fans to look forward to a replacement entry. Not the defending champion, not a top seed, the replacement. That wording alone says something important about how the tennis world now views Eala's presence at any event. She is not there to fill space, she is there to attract attention, both in the draw and beyond it.
She has more confidence and she goes for her shots without any doubt, I would say.
This was definitely one of the bigger Filipino turnouts. New York was huge.
To understand why Stuttgart's ticket situation unfolded the way it did, you have to look at what Eala achieved in the months leading up to April. Her 2026 record heading into Stuttgart stood at 14 wins and 8 losses. On paper, those numbers are solid for a player in her first full WTA season, but they do not tell the full story. At the ASB Classic in Auckland, she reached the semifinals, her best result of the season at that point. Then came the Philippine Women's Open, a WTA 125 event that marked the country's first ever WTA tournament on home soil. Tickets for the final sold out before Eala had even officially confirmed her participation, before she confirmed. At the Abu Dhabi Open, she reached the quarterfinals. Then came Dubai, where she defeated world number 8 Jasmine Paolini in straight sets, before losing to Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals, a player she could potentially meet again in Stuttgart's second round.
Another wonderful win for Alexandra Eala. Thank you, Jasmine, she says. Paolini gracious as ever in defeat. The former champion is out. Alexandra Eala.
Then came Indian Wells, where she defeated Gauff's conqueror in a match that went past midnight in the California desert, with fans wrapped in coats and blankets refusing to leave. Her career-high ranking of world number 29 came during this stretch, a number that surprised much of the tennis world, especially considering that just 12 months earlier, she had been playing on the WTA Challenger Tour, not the main circuit. Then Miami, where she could not repeat that semifinal run and slipped back to number 46. Then Linz last week, where she led 5-1 in the second set against defending Stuttgart champion Yelena Ostapenko, and still lost 6-4, 7-5. That Linz loss matters because Eala arrived in Stuttgart not on a wave of momentum. She came in with a clay record that still needs development, a recent defeat to the current Stuttgart title holder, and a draw that could bring Elena Rybakina before the quarterfinals. On paper, she had no reason to be the main story on opening day. The fans clearly did not read that paper.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be back. Can't wait to be out on court and I hope to see you there.
Of course, we have to mention Alex Eala, the incredible fandom coming, across the globe, especially from the Filipino community. So
now we came here because she's also here, of course.
Now, this is where the story needs careful accuracy, because the timeline has often been misrepresented online. Martina Navratilova's most widely quoted reaction to the Eala phenomenon did not happen in Stuttgart. It came earlier in Melbourne at the Australian Open in January 2026, when Eala's first-round match on court 6 created a situation the tournament had not anticipated. The crowd did not just fill the court, it spilled into the walkways. Lines stretched outside the venue, with fans waiting despite having little chance of getting in. And this was a first-round match against American Alicia Parks. Not a quarterfinal, not a main stadium feature, court 6. Speaking on Tennis Channel after the match, Navratilova said, "It's amazing that people were so nicely standing in line, but they would be there for at least an hour if they ever got to the match. So kudos to the fans. The players have no idea this is happening." Lindsay Davenport, the 1999 Wimbledon champion sitting beside her, added, "She probably needed to be on a bigger show court. She's probably the most famous female from the Philippines, certainly one of the most recognized athletes from their sporting world." Now here is why those comments from January matter directly to what is happening in Stuttgart in April. Navratilova was not reacting to a one-time crowd surge. She was pointing out a deeper issue. Tournament organizers across the WTA were consistently underestimating Eala's ability to draw crowds, placing her on courts that simply could not handle the demand. Melbourne was the first clear example. Stuttgart, 3 months later, is another. The surge in ticket demand in Germany did not come out of nowhere. It followed a pattern that a legend of the sport had already identified when the season had barely begun, and the fact that Stuttgart organizers are now facing the same overflow situation that Melbourne experienced for a replacement entry, not even a seeded player, shows that the tennis world still has not fully adjusted to what Navratilova recognized back in January. That is the real story behind the sold-out headlines. And beyond the ticket frenzy, the round of 32 matchup in Stuttgart involving Eala becomes even more compelling.
We're not concerned about anyone else right now. It's Alex Eala time. This is Alex Eala's moment. Our days, our dinners, our evenings are fixated on when she's playing. That's real tennis fandom right there. Love it.
This is so great for tennis in general.
Yeah.
I think having players like Alex out there, and she's so gracious to all her fans. She spends time with her fans, signs the autographs, takes the photos, and really just shows the Filipino community that it is all about the Philippines. And I still carry that flag with me no matter where I go across the world.
Leylah Fernandez, ranked world number 25 from Canada, is a former Grand Slam finalist. She reached the US Open final in 2021 as a 19-year-old, where she lost to Emma Raducanu in one of the most memorable finals in recent history. She has won 5 WTA titles and her career high ranking is number 13. On paper, she enters this match as the clear favorite, but 2026 has not been kind to Fernandez. She comes into Stuttgart with a record of 4 wins and 9 losses. She has already suffered 5 first-round exits this season. Her most recent event was in Charleston, where she lost 6-3, 6-0 in the second round to Diana Schneider. That is not the form of a player expected to be a strong favorite in any matchup. There is also a cultural layer that makes this first-round meeting unusual. Fernandez's mother is Filipino-Canadian with family roots linked to Hawaii and Leyte through her grandparents. Her father, Jorge, is Ecuadorian. Born and raised in Montreal, Fernandez has openly spoken about embracing her Filipino heritage, and for many in the community, she is considered one of their own in a broader sense that goes beyond nationality. So the atmosphere inside the Porsche Arena carries something unique. The same Filipino fanbase that has been shaping the energy of this tournament all season is now watching 2 players with Filipino connections face each other. The emotional dynamic is complex in a very specific way. What makes Eala's challenge even more difficult is the surface. Clay has been her most inconsistent surface this season. Her recent losses on clay include the Linz defeat to Jelena Ostapenko, where she let a strong position slip away. Against Fernandez, a fellow left-hander, the tactical battle will likely come down to patience and control on a slower surface. Eala's game is built on aggressive shot-making and instinctive offense. Clay demands a different kind of discipline. The winner of this match will go on to face world number 8 Jasmine Paolini in the second round, the same Italian clay court specialist Eala already defeated in Dubai. That potential rematch adds another layer of significance beyond ranking points alone, and Eala's presence in Stuttgart is now part of something the WTA has begun to formally recognize.
After that, and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. Obviously, she wants to get better than where she is now. She's got a lot of good hand-eye coordination and ability to take the ball early and redirect. But the fan stuff is always fun for me, because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get up to the top.
In November 2025, capitalizing on the surge of interest in tennis in the Philippines driven entirely by Eala's rise, the WTA announced the creation of the Philippine Women's Open, a WTA 125 event scheduled for January 2026. It marked the country's first professional WTA tournament in history.
The biggest draw in women's tennis right now.
Yes.
Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco?
Dude, it's crazy. She's having the same effect that Fonseca was having, like, on the men's side last year in Miami.
It's like Fonseca, but I think it's bigger than Fonseca.
It is, yeah, it is.
Like, the Doha, like, crowds were insane for her last week.
Yeah.
Correct.
She's definitely one to watch, obviously because she's so good, but just for the atmosphere. You want to tune into her matches just to see what it's like on the court.
There's got to be, like, a little jealousy maybe from some of the women, that girls coming in, she's not top 10, biggest star.
The live stream of Eala's press conference at the Australian Open drew over 100,000 views, more than the combined numbers for Aryna Sabalenka and Carlos Alcaraz at the same event. She now has close to 1 million Instagram followers, more than double many established tour players ranked well above her. These are not vanity statistics. In professional tennis, where prize money at WTA 500 events like Stuttgart peaks at €161,310 for the champion, the commercial impact of a player who drives that level of digital engagement and in-person attendance is massive. Tournament directors are beginning to realize that placing Eala on the wrong court does not just affect fan experience, it affects atmosphere, media attention, and ultimately revenue. Navratilova recognized this instinctively in January. Stuttgart is now experiencing it in April. If Eala defeats Fernandez and moves past Paolini in the second round, she could reach the quarterfinals against either Iga Świątek or Elena Rybakina, depending on how the draw develops. A semifinal run at a WTA 500 on clay in her Stuttgart debut as a replacement entry would deliver ranking points strong enough to push her back toward the top 30 at a crucial stage of the season. Roland Garros begins in late May, the next major on clay. Every match in Stuttgart now carries added weight. But beyond ranking points, a deep run would also answer a harder question. Whether the ticket surges, the sold-out stands, and the Navratilova observations reflect real competitive legitimacy or just external hype. The scrutiny on Eala is growing precisely because expectations are now rising faster than her results on certain surfaces. Stuttgart is where she either begins to close that gap or where it widens heading into the most important stretch of the clay season. The tournament runs from April 13th through April 19th. The total prize pool is €1,049,083. The champion receives €161,310, along with a Porsche 911 Carrera S Cabriolet finished in tennis ball yellow. Rybakina, the 2024 Stuttgart champion and current world number 2, is the top seed. Świątek, a two-time Stuttgart winner, is seeded third. Goff is seeded second. Defending champion Yelena Ostapenko, who won the 2025 title and the car, returns to defend her trophy. Eala, the replacement entry ranked world number 46, sits in the same half of the draw as Rybakina. The path only gets harder from here, but the Stuttgart stands were sold out anyway. The ticket surge around Alex Eala at the 2026 Stuttgart Open is not an accident and not a coincidence. It is the clearest sign yet of something the sport rarely sees: a player whose competitive rise and cultural pull are growing at the same time. Navratilova saw it early in January. Stuttgart is feeling it now in April. The rest of the tennis world is still catching up. If this is the story you're following, make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and share your prediction for what happens next on court today. Whatever the outcome, the conversation around this tournament is far from over.